please do ask them because this topic could be a little bit confusing. Um, but that being said, go ahead and start the recording, and we're gonna start off by creating a folder called taxi, um, one folder called server, one folder called client, and or we're gonna add some code in here or some files, and then we're gonna do our normal setup. Import all as alts server. Same thing there, and then we're gonna do client. And the last thing is the rebar hook. So let's get that in here, just like that. And then this can be replaced with at server. Just have relative imports set up. Okay, so we have our basic setup here. So first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need some positions, okay? And we're going to get the position of effectively where we would start this, right? So I'm going to go over here and let's just say it starts. Well, everybody else can hear me, right? Just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Just on your end then. Um, but that being said, let me go ahead and do position. We're going to grab this position out of the F8 console. I'm going to pop that in here and just call this like start position, like so. And we're going to build a interaction. So rebar controllers use interaction. We're going to make a cull shape, new cull shape sphere, alt cull shape sphere, cylinder, either one. We'll probably do cylinder actually. It's going to be start position X, start position Y, start position Z. Let's make it a radius of 3 and a height of 3. Let's go ahead and we're going to need to add a few more things in here. I think this is where we set it as like player. Yeah. All right. So our interaction here, we're going to assign it to a variable. This use interaction returns an interaction. If you guys remember from last time, we did something similar. We're going to go ahead and listen for when it's interacted with, which is going to be just player here. And we're going to call this like function on start. Okay. And we're going to put player in here, this, and we're going to just call the on start function. Okay. So what is happening here is when you press E, it's going to tell you that this is starting or something specific is starting. We're going to pass rebar use player to set up a rebar player, like so. And then we're going to just send a message or a notification. We'll just say starting, right? For now. Because a lot of the things that just work on, input, put something in, get something out kind of situation. So if I go over here and if I press E, maybe not. Maybe I forgot to subtract a Z, which is completely possible. Yeah, that's probably what I forgot. So let's do -1 there because I didn't get the floor position. Try that again. Yeah, there will be a recording this time. No worries. Yep, there we go. So there's our notification in the bottom left. It says starting. It's exactly what we want, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and write down some thoughts here about what is going to be made during this workshop. Right now, all we have is just an interaction. You press E when you're inside of an invisible area. So thoughts on what we're going to do. 1, spawn a taxi. 2, spawn an NPC to pick up. 3 is determine a location on NPC pickup. And then 4, drop off that NPC. I think this is probably what we're going to be building here. Should be pretty straightforward. And then let's see what else. I think that's actually like a good just base to just kind of get an idea of what we're going to be building. I don't know if we're going to do anything else too crazy because we're going to have to get a couple different positions and things like that. So maybe we'll start off with spawning the taxi, right? Another thing is making sure that they're not already like in a job kind of thing or already doing the taxi mission, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, absolutely. We can do that at some other point. I think that's a little bit too much. We're just going to be focusing on what it's like to step through something like this. So, like when I write down something like this, I can now step through it. But one of the first things that we're going to need is actually a bunch of different positions. So let's just go ahead and we're going to grab a few different points. So one of them here is going to be like a floor position for taxi spawn. So let's just call it taxi spawn. That. And then we're going to need a few different positions for like NPCs to pick up. What I'm going to do is just kind of effectively just put them maybe just here and like across the street. We're just going to get a couple different positions real quick. So there's one. Let's go over here, grab another one. Let's just put one here. We'll do like 3, and then we'll randomly pick a NPC and where to spawn it and kind of thing. Let's just do one up the street here. Right? Right here, 4 position. Looks good. All right, so let's grab these positions and we're going to put them together in a vector. So let's just call this NPC spawns. So there's 1, 2, and last one's going to be 3. Like that. Okay, there's our NPC spawns. And let's see, we are going to need some places to kind of like deliver them. For testing purposes, what I recommend you guys do whenever you do something like this, don't do it across the map immediately. Do it close. It's just faster, and we're in the fucking sewer somehow. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So let's grab like a position here. Let's just say we're going to deliver here. So here, or we're going to deliver down here, right? Just to get some general stuff set up here. And let's just say const final positions. Right. So all we've done so far is just gather positions. Yeah, we need z+1 and teleport function. Yeah, I really need to do that. Okay, so we do have the taxi spawn, we have the NPC spawns, final positions, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to want to do is effectively keep track of like a state of who is working what job kind of thing. And you can do that by setting like meta on the player. So I'm going to call this like job session key. And let's just call it taxi job. Okay. And what we want to do is we don't want the player to spawn a bunch of cars. So if player has meta job session key, we're just going to return and maybe just let them know you're already working this job, right? You are already working this job. Okay. And let's go ahead and put this up here at the top. Give me one moment. Yeah, so we have the onStart plugin, or not the onStart plugin, we have the onStart function and it's showing a notification. And what we're going to do is when we're starting it, we're going to assign the meta to the player. So we're going to do set meta job session key. I'm going to set that to true. Okay. So now that we know that the player isn't trying to start this job twice, so however many times they start it, like it'll only start once. So if I go and give this a shot now, it'll go ahead and tell us, hey, you're already doing this. I'm not going to do anything else. So we're going to go over here. I do need to put a marker down so that you can better visualize what you're seeing here. So we'll do that next. If I press E, it says starting. If I press it again, you're already working this job. It's exactly what we want. Okay, pretty simple. Let's go ahead and build a couple different things here. We have the interaction. Let's build the marker that we're going to use as well to kind of just mark the area on the ground. Let's just call not interaction, but marker. And this is going to be just a position, which is going to be the start position. And then we're gonna let me make it so that the start position has 1 subtracted from it already. So we'll just do 73. And we're gonna add a color, new RGBA, right? And let's go make it red. Red or yellow? Oh, yellow, huh? Can you make yellow again? Blue, RGB. We can do blue. That's fine. Let's do like 200. Maybe a little like 50 on the green, you know? Scale, we're gonna do new alt.vector3. This is gonna be the size of our marker, how big it is. More or less, you want it to match what your radius and range are. So usually just something like this is pretty good. You want the height to usually be lower so it doesn't take up too much space. Type, we're gonna do marker type dot cylinder, and then the rest is fine. All right, so that's our global marker. The next one we need is maybe a text thing. Use text global. We'll do position equals start position. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, we can do. Let me see if I could do this real quick. Start position. We're gonna add that. I think that's valid. Just called taxi job. That's perfect. All right. So now we'll get text and a marker there. Is that interaction message works? It does now. Yeah, it's actually covered. It doesn't tell you anything. You have to write it. It's client side. But yeah, here's a blue point with taxi job on it. Press E. Press E again. Okay. So we have all of our marker and stuff there. Really simple code. Nothing too crazy. What I'm going to do here is actually just kind of reorganize this a little bit. Actually, no, these can go down here. That's fine. All right. So we have the interaction. We have it set up with a an on start function, which is down here. Technically, all this stuff here kind of goes together, so we could just bundle that together so it all makes sense. So this is all of our interaction, starting slash interaction. Okay. So next thing that we're going to need to do is we need to spawn a taxi, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Really pretty simple. We're going to tell the player we could just warp them into the taxi, which is honestly not the worst thing. Is there event when player enters the marker? No, you don't listen for events when a player enters a marker. You listen for it in an interaction point, actually. You could actually do interaction. Oh, we don't have it. I thought we had it. Maybe I'll add that later. We don't have that. I thought we had that covered, but anyway. Should we have to clear meta when player leaves? Yes. Well, not when they leave the server. When they leave the server, it's cleared automatically. But yes, we will we should probably add something for that. Yeah, that sounds like a nice little thing to add. Let me add that actually. I'll put that in my notes. Add callback on enter server side. Yeah, this is why we build these things though. These community workshops are not just helpful for me, they're helpful for you guys too. Because when I go and try and build these things, we hit the limitations. Because then it's like when you guys start saying, "Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do blah blah blah?" I can walk through those scenarios. In any case, we're showing the notification. What we're going to do is we're going to tell them pick up the passenger. Let's just say the passenger on your mini map, right? We're going to spawn a taxi. We'll do new alts vehicle. I think it's just called taxi, but I hope I'm right. We'll call taxi spawn. We'll do new alt vector 3. We could actually probably get the proper rotation. Let me see. I think we do have a way to do that. It should be the opposite direction in which you face, which is very strange. But let me see. Do we have rotation? We do have rotation. Yeah, this is what we want right here. So it should be this. If it's not, that sucks, but it should be that. Streaming distance, whatever, that's fine. So now we have our taxi. And what we're going to do is teleport the player into the taxi. So we're going to do like alt next tick. I'm actually not 100% certain that we need to do this, but we're going to do it anyway. So it gives that vehicle just a little bit more time to spawn. And then we'll put them in the driver's seat like that. Okay. Now, if you have a bunch of people that are making, spawning taxis, that's obviously not going to work. So what we can do is verify that the area is clear before we spawn them in it. We do have a utility function for that, which is I think it's use vehicle getter. No, but it's probably under world actually. Yeah, position is clear. So we're going to check if the position is clear before we do anything. So if the position is not clear, we're going to pass that position, which is the taxi spawn. And we're going to look for vehicle. We don't care about anybody else. So if the position is not clear, we'll have an issue with it. And we could just say something along the lines of the taxi depot is currently full. Please wait. Okay. And that won't trigger the meta. So what's important here is that we are only checking if it's clear. Okay. So once that's done, we're going to just double check that this puts us into the vehicle, spawns it, and so on and so forth. So let's go walk over here. And if I press E on it, it'll put me in it. And it looks like I was wrong about the rotation. So we're going to flip it around and get that in the right position. So let's go ahead and grab this rotation again. We'll fix that. There we go. So that should hopefully put the vehicle in the right direction when we spawn or start. So just do that, press E, we're in the vehicle, we're ready to go. Okay, so next thing it says, pick up the passenger on the mini map. We should probably do that. So we're going to do that. So part of this trouble is if you think about what we're doing right now, this is just one function, right? We need a way to pretty much store that session data. Okay, so there's two different things that we can use. We can use a function, or we can use a class, or we can use a function. And in Rebar, we've been using a lot of functions. So what we're going to do is create a function called use taxi job. Okay, we're going to pass the player into it like so. And what we're going to do is write a couple different functions to get it going. Okay, so we're going to start moving some stuff around. So if we call start, we're going to take all this data that we have just written, we're going to move some of it around. This one, when we do use taxi job, we're going to set them out of here. Outside of the start function, we're going to return the start function. And we're also going to set up, we're going to pass our player, or we're going to construct a new R player. I think we're just going to construct a new one. It's just going to be easier. And then we're just going to do use taxi job player. Okay. So onStart is now just an onStart function. It doesn't do anything else. That's its sole purpose. And now what we can do is start building functionality into the taxi job here. Okay. So we have start, which is start the taxi job. The next thing we're going to need to do is set up our passenger target. So we can do that by setting up a scoped target to the US or to the use taxi job. So all these variables are only going to be available inside of here. So we're going to go ahead and go down that way. The sandbox plugins are stuff that I just throw code into to just try stuff. They don't do anything. They're just literally my extra code. So for target, we need to assign an NPC. Oh geez, what is it? Isn't it just alt NPC? Hold on. Ped. Alt ped. Okay. So that's our target. It actually may not be this at all. We may actually need return type of, let's say it's rebar controllers use ped. Yeah, that's what we're gonna want. So that's gonna give us a ped instance that we can work with. Just call it ped target for clarity. So let's go ahead and build that ped target to spawn in a position. What we can do is we have a NPC spawns here, but we have a function that'll just shuffle through the array and give you a result. And I believe that's in shared. So if we go into random, we have shuffle, which, yeah, that would be perfect actually. We're probably going to just do shuffle. So let's go ahead and import utility. So we'll do import all as utility from utility. Oh, hold on. Shared, shared, and then utility index. There we go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and shuffle that array so it gives us a random pedestrian. So if we do, we'll do shuffle positions, and then if we do utility, random shuffle, ped positions, is that what it's called? NPC spawns. Let's call it ped spawns for the sake of clarity, because I keep thinking of NPCs, but so ped spawns. Okay, so we have our shuffled positions here, and in order to just pull a position out, we can just do shuffled position 0. That's going to get the first element in the array that has been shuffled. So shuffle the order of the array, pull out a single position. That's what that does. Once we have our single position here, we're going to create that pedestrian, right? So we're going to assign it to ped target up here. So we'll do ped target equals rebar. And we're going to do controllers use ped. And then we're going to do new alt ped. And I need a pedestrian model, actually. So let me go ahead and grab that. I don't know what that is. So yeah, that's fine. We could use that one. So let's spawn that one there. And we're going to set that position here like that. Rotation doesn't matter. We're not going to really care about it. And streaming distance doesn't matter either. All right, so we have our ped target set up. What we're going to do is make this ped super dumb. So you can do set option make stupid. I'm going to set that to true. Now our ped is stupid. It won't do anything when we spawn it. So once our ped is like in position there, well, we have most of that set up. So this is for spawning our pedestrian to go to. Our next step is, well, we need to work on the what's going to be like a how do I put this? Where we need to go next, right? So part of that has to do with the cull shape that we're going to create. So let's create a cull shape. It's going to be a cull shape only for this specific player. So I'm going to show you how to do that since I think it's really important. We're going to do type of rebar controllers. We're going to use another interaction for this. So let's actually call this the pickup interaction. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and build that as well. So we'll do pickup interaction, rebar controllers, use interaction. We're going to create another cull shape. What I'm going to do is just grab the one that's down here because I'm lazy. I don't want to type it. There we go. Instead of start position, we're going to just do position. And then we're going to make it so that it only works if you're in a vehicle, just like that. And then we're going to assign on, and we're going to build a function for it. So we'll do function on pickup, right? And we're going to ask for the player that's coming through, okay? And what's important here is that we actually have two scopes, or we have two players here, right? That's kind of not good practice. So what we're going to do is we'll call this one like ref player, something else different so they don't collide with the same scoped variable names. And then we're going to pass on pickup in there. So when we press it again, yeah, or target player as well. Again, target player is also nice. So if we do if player ID is not equal to target player.id, like that, we're going to return. The cull shape effectively does not belong to them, so they should not be there, if that makes sense. Okay. And the next thing that we're going to do is we need to we don't have to show a marker on where to go, but we do need to kind of like show where they need to go. So what we can do is create a blip. So we're going to do that. And this is going to be return type of rebar controllers, use blip local, because we only want the one player to see this blip. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely use local markers as well, but we're going to use a blip here because there's an NPC there. So I think it just makes sense to just do it that way. So we're going to do blip equals rebar controllers use blip local. We're going to pass the player, and then we're going to pass blip data. So we need the position, which position is already there. We're going to set a new color. We'll do new alt RGBA. Let's just make it red. Short range true. Sprite or text, we're going to do taxi pickup, I guess. And then we'll just do sprite as something. We need sprites. So alt V sprites. This is kind of quite a bit of code to get this going. So you can see how these things can get pretty complicated pretty quickly. Let's just do 57. Yeah, we'll just do 57. I think that's fine. It's just like a little circular blip. Okay. This is not going to work because that's not a color that actually is valid. Let me go grab an actual valid color. I'll just make it 63. Oops. Sorry, it's supposed to be a number. I forgot. Okay. So now that we have excuse me. Now that we have the blip set up, as you can see, the blip is actually scoped into like the global portion of this function. We'll be able to access this blip later when we are at the target, when the target gets in the vehicle, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's set up to where we can go pick up the pedestrian now, right? So set up interaction, set up set up the blip for a visual cue. And then I'm going to just notify here real quick. Something along the lines of like, oops, and grab it. We'll just say like pedestrian is now entering your vehicle. Okay. Let's go ahead and just visually go through this so you guys can see what was done. And we'll just test to make sure everything works. So I'm going to walk over here, hit the taxi job. Oh, something went wrong. What did I do wrong? Let's check. Use oh, we didn't do start. So we do taxi job. And we need to return the start function, which we did. And then we just do taxi job start. Forgot about that. There we go. All right. We're in there. There is a pedestrian in the corner. You can see him over there. And if we walk over or drive over there, we go to like right here. And it says pedestrian is now entering your vehicle. Okay. So let's make the pedestrian enter the vehicle because that's our next step, right? So we have the pedestrian available here, the pet target for Rebar. So pet target, right? We're going to invoke enter vehicle. Okay. And it's going to ask for a vehicle number. All you have to do is just pass the vehicle that we're currently using. Okay. So if we just do target player dot vehicle, that's sufficient. That's perfectly fine. We're going to give it a timeout 2000. The seats are different on client side. For natives, it goes -1, 0, 1, 2. So if we want them in the back, we could probably just pass 1. For the speed, I can't remember what this one is specifically. So this is when you open up natives.altv.mp and you type in task enter vehicle and you go and take a look at what some of this has to say. So we have left back seat is where they're going to go. For the speed, if we do 2, it'll be running. Is what that is, I believe. Unless that's for, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. These are flags. So we'll just do 1. So we'll do 2 and then 1 is what we're looking at. 2.0, 1.0. How can we determine if there's room in the vehicle? So you should have access to, that's a good question, actually. It's a great question. You should have access to passengers, right? Like this. And this is going to tell you how many passengers are currently in your vehicle. Okay. The only other thing is knowing how to, I don't know if there's a native to check how many seats. I don't remember if that's a thing. There is are any vehicle seats free, which is a native you can invoke on the player. Oh, there you go. Vehicle model, number of seats. So yeah, you could actually just technically do this. So is there like a is seat free? Is vehicle seat free? Yep, yes there is. That is sick. Okay, so here's a way that you could do it. We could determine if a seat is free. Any seat is free, actually. Besides, it's better to use if there's room, right? So if you do 4, well, I'm going to show how to do this anyway. So we're going to do I is less than 3, I believe. 2, 1, 2, no, 2. Something like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to invoke something on the player. So if we do our player native invoke, is vehicle seat free? And we're going to pass target player.vehicle. And we're going to pass I. And we're just going to set that to false. Why is it complaining here? Argument of type vehicles not assignable to type number or whatever. Okay. I think this one might complain. This one is actually probably going to complain a lot until I can figure out how to make it work. That's really annoying. This does make me want to write something for this though. Um, so maybe another thing that we could do, let's see. What are some other ways we can go about this? Target player vehicle seats, no seats. We just have access to passengers and it has I vehicle passenger. Okay, we'll just do it that way then. Um, wait, what? What is this returning? Hold on. Object entries. Ah, I see. Okay. This is why we read. Um, yeah, so it looks like you can just do it this way then. So yeah, we don't need to do any native invokes, anything weird like that. So we do have an available like seat. So the thing is, we need to map these object entries so that we can see like what seats are available. So we do taken seats, right? And then let's just say one is driver, right? Yeah, yeah. If the seat is if the well, it's not really just setting them in there, but what we want to do is check what seat is going to be available. So if we set all these to false to start, so let's say there's 4 seats. Okay, this is just our general purpose seat check. What we're going to do is we're going to do taken seats seat true. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out which one of these taken seats is not actually taken. And we can do that by doing object keys taken seats if taken seats seat number is true. We're going to continue and we're going to pass out the available seat, which is we're going to set to -1. And we'll just do available seat equals parse int seat number break. And that's how we can probably get a seat that's open. It's a little bit convoluted. We'll probably build a utility function for this. It just makes more sense. Um, Liam, I don't have any idea how I could do that right now. I'm not going to answer it right now. So for seat number, yeah, once we have it available, if available seat is less than or equal to -1, we're going to notify the player that they have no room in their vehicle. No room in your vehicle for that passenger. Okay. Now, the thing is, these seats are based on server side, right? So if we want the player or the pedestrian, I'm sorry, to enter this specific seat, we have to do it is where's the seat? We're on target timeout. This is the seat. We need to do available seat minus, I believe, is it just -1? It's -2. It's -2, I believe. I believe that's correct. Um, and then we have what is override entry clip set name. I think we can just keep that like that. Let me go open this native again. See if there's anything else there that I'm missing. Looks like it could just be whatever. And then this last one can also just be whatever, supposedly. And then it's going to complain about this again. The vehicle's missing the following properties: vehicle, gear, blah 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 blah. Um, why? Hold on. 31 or more. It should just take vehicle. That's what's really annoying about this. Um, for now, I don't want to sit here and fight types, so I'm just going to run a TS ignore on it. It'll still work. Like, even if you have that red squiggly like that, it'll most likely work. But I don't want to sit here and fight TypeScript while I'm trying to do this. So we'll throw a TS ignore on it, and then we'll just hopefully have the pedestrian enter the vehicle. So let's go take a look, and we'll see if it works. Okay. Pedestrian's in the same place, apparently. If I do this, they get in. That's a great sign, right? Okay. So now we're at the point where they're in the vehicle. Now we just need to kind of clean up as we go along, right? So one of those things is we want to get rid of the pickup interaction immediately. So we'll do pickup interaction, destroy it. Okay. And then the next thing that we're going to do is set up our next step, which is we're going to set up delivering the passenger. Okay. Um, so instead of making a bunch of different variables, what I'm going to do is just reuse this interaction. We'll call it next stage interaction. So I'm just going to rename all that. If you ever want to select a bunch of stuff at once, you can press or you can highlight it and press Control D, and it'll select a whole bunch of things at once. And you can also make a ton of cursors as well, like this, if you hold down your mouse wheel, which is really handy. Like if you need a bunch of cursors in one place, you can like what is it? Alt click if you need a bunch of cursors, and then you can type like that. So just a little VS Code trick for you. So now we get this set up delivering the passenger, right? So we're going to reuse pretty much the same interaction code that we already built. So if I go up here to next stage interaction, we're going to do something similar. We're going to just copy and paste it down, and then we're going to get a position based on, well, shuffled positions, but it's not going to be the same group. It's going to be, what is it, final positions. So we have our final position being used here. So once the positions are word slurry. Once the positions are shuffled, we're not going to do on pickup. We're going to do on delivery, right? So async function on delivery, and we're going to go ahead and on delivery like that. We'll do player here. Actually, we'll do target player, right? We're going to do that same comparison up here. I'm going to just go ahead and grab that here, paste that right here. And then our next thing is they're at the point, right? So all we need to do is destroy the next stage interaction. And we need to kick this pedestrian out of our car. And then like delete them in a second, I guess, if that makes sense. So if we do head target, and we're going to just do task, leave any vehicle. No delay time. And then I don't remember. Flags are the same flags that used in task leave vehicle. Let's take a look. We could just do one for the flag. Can't we do without interaction? Like as soon as the taxi reaches destination, the ped will get out. So that's when we actually have interaction. We don't have that available yet. So we need like the on part of the interaction, and we don't have that. So that's something I wrote in my notes that we'll need to do. For now, you press E to tell them to get out. But that being said, they just get out of the vehicle at this point. And that's pretty much it, really. We could probably tell them. No, we don't need to tell them to go somewhere. I mean, that's pretty much it. Once they are delivered to that point and they've left the vehicle and we've destroyed the interaction, our last one is pretty much going to be. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could effectively restart the job again. Yeah. So if we make it so that the this portion is repeatable, then we can repeat it forever. So let's do async function. We'll call it setup pedestrian like this. Some cash for hard work. Yeah, but like again, we're not using that API right now. So um once that's done, yeah, we just do setup pedestrian again. And what I need to do is destroy the current pedestrian before we do that. So what we're going to do is just build in a await alt utils. We're going to wait like 5 seconds and then we'll just do head target. We'll wait. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll wait like 1 second and then we're going to invoke task wander in area. And we're going to go ahead and make them wander around where the player is. And then we'll just eventually just make them disappear, right? Let's give them like 100 radius, minimal length. Actually, not sure what that is. Doesn't tell me. So let's just do like 10 time between walks. I don't know what that means either. So just throw some random numbers in there and hope everything goes well. So once that's set up where they're wandering, after about 5 seconds, we'll just get rid of them, so to speak. So we're gonna just probably just kill them, just to get rid of them, and then that'll just endlessly allow you to do this. So it's a lot of code to get that to work. Maybe once player leave the area, we'll destroy. Yeah, but again, we don't have like on leave for the thing and so on and so forth. So anyway, so this time there is no passenger because I didn't call setup pedestrian. So let me do that. And then I'll probably have the code here in a second. Be available in the Discord. Yeah, we can do player distance for sure. Okay, so they did spawn over here. Let's go ahead and pick them up. Maybe I'm not close enough. There we go. And it looks like, well, that doesn't help because I don't know where to go. We picked them up, but we didn't set up a blip to tell them where to go. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll destroy the blip as well. So we'll do, once they've entered the vehicle, just destroy the blip, and then we'll set up the next blip, right? So based on that position, and that should be fine. We just need the general area, and then we can see if it all works. So, and then you could go in and like polish after this as well. So you would do things like markers and all that kind of fun stuff as well. Let's go ahead and E. Go over here. Pick up our guy. There's our blip back there. And I think we had it like here-ish, probably. He's out. Let's probably start wandering. If he doesn't wander, that's fine too. Oh, he's dead. We need to destroy the blip as well. Holy shit, that was so fucking. That was hella funny. We can keep just delivering these dead passengers to the location. Oh man, too funny. Oh, time to start wandering's high. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway. Oh, right. There you go. I'll just watch that again for the sake of it because it's pretty funny. So fucking funny. All right, yeah. So there's that. But yeah, it's endless now. You can endlessly deliver passengers in a loop, pretty much forever. But normally these pedestrians are supposed to actually delete themselves too. But I don't think I added an event for that. Yeah, there we go. He died. Yeah. In any case, though, I mean the code is working as far as getting that going. Yes, that's a little jank there, but it does work. But that being said, I mean, it's quite a bit of code, but this is just like one little piece of code for like a little taxi job kind of thing. It's not too bad, um, especially if you're like building something from scratch. Like here, when you do the on delivery, you can inject like cash flow and that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I think that that covers this whole thing. It took about an hour. Um, but do we have any questions? Oh, I have none actually. There's nothing in client side. This was entirely done through server side. Yeah, no client code at all. Oh yeah, and well, we don't need to clear the meta until yeah, if you do like exit job, I think a command like that would probably be fine. But in the case here, um I guess a good way to do it actually is like when you exit the vehicle. You exit the taxi, you lose the taxi. That'd be a decent way to do it. But yeah, we got to remove old blips as well. Definitely, which is going to be here. So we just do blip destroy. And then for the pedestrian, when it dies, I think we actually need to make it so that let's set all of this to let's try and fix the let's try and set these all to 0. And then we'll do head target on death. UID killer. Oh no. Do I not have a destroy function? I thought that's what it did. Invoke RPC is near. I thought I added that. I guess I missed it. Oh no, we have on death. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no, that's not what I'm looking for at all. I thought I deleted the pedestrian when you killed it, but maybe I missed that. We do kill, invoke death. It removes it after 5 seconds. But invoke death is never called. So what we're going to do is just call that then. Um, let's just make it. Sorry, we're going to make it the player. Just do -1 or something. And that'll be fine. That way it'll at least delete itself. Is the meta saved on the character when disconnected from the server? So meta's only stored for the lifetime of when they're connected to the server. So that data that's stored on the player is only there for a limited period of time, if that makes sense. So in order to, how do I put this? So in order to, like, let's say clean up, like if we need a cleanup command or a function, we need to do a bunch of things, right? We need to, well, the blip is client side, so we don't need to worry about that. The pet target, we're definitely going to need to kill or invoke death on if they're valid, right? So the meta is saved after disconnecting? No, meta is never saved. It only exists for the lifetime of the server. So it means that um, it only lasts for as long as they're connected. When they disconnect, the meta is cleared. Meta is just completely cleared. So it's a good way to clear memory by assigning things to the player, because when they disconnect, it's automatically cleared. You don't have to do any manual cleanup. But in the case of this, we have a few different things that we need to take care of, like the next stage interaction and all that kind of stuff as well. We just want to try and clean all that up when they disconnect. So what I'm going to do is wrap a bunch of this stuff in try and catches, just in case it does anything funky. The blip I don't need to worry about. The ped target and the next stage interaction are the stuff that I need to clean up. And then what I can do is if player and player valid, we're going to do player, I think it's delete meta. Yeah, delete meta. And then we'll do whatever the key was, something key, session, job session key. And that'll clear that so that you can run the job again. But we need a way so that, like, let's say when the player exits the vehicle, thanks, need to run. We'll catch the rest of it on video for sure. So when the player, so restarting the server clears all meta for all players on the server, right? Yes, as well as anybody that reconnects as well. So think of it, every time a player joins, they get a whole clean slate. Nothing is restored. The only thing that's restored is their login data. That's it. Because they're authenticating again. Okay. For cleanup though, the thing with the job session key, right, is that right now we're just setting it to true. Okay. And that's all fine and dandy, but it's like if I need this function with cleanup and start in it, I need to store it on the meta. So what we're going to do is move the meta down to here. And we're going to assign taxi job to the meta. Okay. So now it's stored. This function that's being created is now available in the metadata. So when I do something like alt on, I think it's disconnect. Yep. We'll have player available here, and we can do, let's call it taxi job equals player get meta job session key as return type of use taxi job. This is a little confusing, but again, like, this code will be available. So if the player doesn't have this meta for the job session key, we'll just ignore it. And then we'll do taxi job cleanup, and that'll clean up everything that needs to be cleaned up. So that when I disconnect, it's not just leaving a bunch of different pedestrians around on the server, just taking up more and more space and so on and so forth. So let me just teleport, hopefully not into the subway. Okay. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if I do this, there's our pedestrian on the corner. So if I reconnect, that pedestrian should be gone. Except the vehicle. The vehicle didn't get removed. But yeah, see, the pedestrian's gone over there. So we need to clean up the vehicle as well, since it's like a temporary vehicle. And we can do that by storing the vehicle that's used here as well. So we're going to go ahead and just define that like so. Okay, and then we're just going to clean it up as well. So we'll do by vehicle destroy, throw a wrap on that just in case it does anything funky. And that should clean up the vehicle as well. Double check it. Connect. Vehicle should be gone. Vehicle's gone. Okay, so that's working the way it should. We have a temporary vehicle. And now I can go get this pedestrian, get him in here, drive him down to the blip. Appears to be this one. There we go. Now they're wandering away. Probably gonna die in the middle of the streets. um, but yeah, you could also like we could delay that as well and so on and so forth. So God, it's so funny. This video is freaking long too. This whole workshop's gonna be pretty long. Or yeah, there we go. Delivered again. He's gonna wander off doing whatever. He'll just fall over and die. But yeah, it kind of gives you an idea of like how to build some of this more like complicated stuff because I know people are interested in like jobs and stuff like that as well. But you know, the use cases are there. Like everything can be built at this point. It just requires a little bit of effort, a little bit of understanding, so on and so forth. So yeah, he's gone. But ta-da, that's the code. I'm gonna paste it right here because it's a lot. Can you make the blink and disappear effect opacity instead of? I don't have it set up so that you can do that, unfortunately. So, but anyway, there's the full code for it as well. I posted that in the Discord chat. So yeah, but I think that kind of concludes the workshop. Do we have any more questions? I'm not going to push it as a plugin. It's incomplete. So yeah, I'll post it in snippets for sure. Yeah.